All right, hey guys, welcome to another video with Mr. Pacheco. This video is not a lecture, but however, it is me working out the problems from the review. So this video will be for test 3 review, guys. So get your papers, get your pens and pencils, and let's get to it. Now keep in mind that this is a review, guys, so meaning if you followed the lectures and have completed your homework assignments, this should just be material to review the stuff you should have gone over. So if you haven't completed the lectures or the homeworks, you could still do this review, but I'm not gonna explain things that have been explained in the review, and I mean in the lecture notes. So this is only to kind of just get things going for your exams, okay? So let's get going. Test 3 is going to cover Chapter 9, guys. It's going to have 9.3, 9.5, and 9.6. There will be a total of 20 questions. You will have 3 attempts for this test, so make sure you complete this review and the homeworks before you attempt the test, guys. Give yourself the highest chance to pass. Best of luck to you all. All right, let's look at number one. I believe this first half of the review is going to be about solving equations. So you're going to be utilizing the skill set that we learned this semester on solving equations. So look at number one. Negative 2 parentheses x plus 9 minus 8 equals negative 26. You're going to go ahead and want to get x by itself. That is your primary goal, right? So how do we do that? So to do that first, you want to go ahead and distribute the 2 to all the values in the parentheses. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times 9 is negative 18. Bring down the minus 8. Bring down the negative 26. Now we're going to go ahead and, are there any like terms on the left or right side? There are in the left side. We have two numbers, two constants that can be combined. Negative 18 minus 8. Negative 18 is you owe me $18. Minus 8 is you borrow 8 more. So if you owed me 18 and borrow 8 more, you owe me a total of 26. So we have negative 26. So now we want to get x alone, right? So we want to move this negative 26 to the other side. How do we do that using algebra? Remember, this is the review. Things we should know already. So the opposite of minus 26 is positive 26. What we do to one side, we do to the other. This cancels out. Bring down the negative 2x. Negative 26 plus 26 is 0, right? You don't owe me anything. You owe me 26, but you give me $26. You're now at a balance of 0, so it's 0. But we're still not done. We want x alone, right? And it's negative 2 is in front of it. So we're going to divide negative 2 on both sides. So then we get x is equal to 0, and we are done. Now remember, 0 is a solution, guys. 0 is not no solution or all real numbers. 0 is a number. It just has no value. So let's move on to the next example, guys. Problem 2. So this one has a couple properties interesting. So we have some distribution and multiplication here. So draw the line down the equal sign. So then let's go ahead and distribute our 4. Draw your 2 arrows. Remember, when we distribute, we have to multiply, guys. So 4 times 3y is 12y. 4 times negative 4 is negative 4. Negative 3 times 2y is negative 6y equals 6. Now we have to combine our like terms. So what can we combine here, ladies and gentlemen? We have 12y and negative 6y. So 12y minus 6y is a positive 6y minus 4 equals 6. So now we got to go ahead and solve for y, guys, using algebra. Getting y by itself, we have to move this minus 4 first. So the opposite of minus 4 is plus 4. Go ahead and do that on both sides. Bring down the 6y. 6 plus 4 is 10. And now we're almost done. 6 and y are being multiplied. What's the opposite of multiplication, y'all? Division. So we're going to divide 6 on both sides. So the solution is y equals 10 over 6. But remember, 10 over 6 can be simplified. What number can go into 6 and 10? The answer is 2. We can divide the top and bottom by 2. So then we get 5/3, which can no longer be simplified. So we are done. And this tells us that a fraction can also be a solution, guys. So keep that in mind as you're working on this review, because that means if there's a problem here that simplifies, I can promise you there's a problem on the test that's going to also simplify. All right, problem number 3, guys. Like I said, this is all about reviewing on solving equations. So make sure you guys are looking at the notes and doing the homework assignments so you can get this practice that you need. All right, follow with me. So First, we have to distribute if we can. Nothing can combine here since 7 and a are not like terms, but we could distribute this negative 3. Bring down to 12. Negative 3 times a is negative 3a. Negative 3 times negative 1. Guys, I've been seeing students get confused on numbers. So a positive times a positive is always positive. A negative times a negative is also positive. It only stays negative if it's one and the other. So if it's like a positive times a negative or a negative times a positive, that's going to give us a negative value. Okay, guys? All right, so let's finish off. So negative 3 times negative 1 is a plus 3. Bring down the 7 plus a. So do we have any like terms? Well, the left side has the 12 and the plus 3, right? So 12 plus 3 is just positive 15. So plus 15. So now bring down the 7 plus a. Let's go ahead and now manipulate this to get a on one side and the numbers on the other. So I like to have a's on the left side, so I'm going to subtract a. Cancels out. So this is a negative 1. Negative 3a minus 1a, that's negative 4a. Bring down the positive 15 equals 7. Subtract 15 on both sides, right? Because we want to get a by itself. So I get negative 4a equals negative 8. So we can divide both sides by negative 4. Remember, two negatives make a positive, so this becomes a 1. So then we get a equals positive 2, and we are done. All right, let's keep going. Now remember, this is a YouTube video, so you can rewind this, you can pause this, you can do whichever way you can to help you out. We have fractions in our problem. What do? We can't give up, so we got to figure it out, right? Look at the denominator. So remember in the lesson I showed you that you can multiply the LCD to cancel out the denominators. Well, the denominator is the same for all of them, so the LCD is going to be 7. So we're going to multiply 7 to this whole equation. So times 7. So it'll be times this fraction, and times the last one. So then we're going to get 7 times 3 over 7x plus 7 times 6 over 7 equals, and then 7 times negative 3 over 7. So the long way is make 7 into a fraction and multiply the top and the bottom, right? The top with the top, bottom with the bottom. 7 times 3 is 21. 1 times 7 is 7. Bring down the x. That's the long way because 21 divided by 7 is just 3x, right? The short way is you can cancel out the 7's. So that leaves us plus 6 equals negative 3. All right, let's go ahead and get x by itself. So I'm going to subtract 6 on both sides. So then we get 3x equals negative 9. 3x equals negative 9. So go ahead and divide both sides by 3. So then we get x equals negative 3, and we are done. Notice how it was much easier to solve once we got rid of the fractions. That's what this concept's about. The LCD is pretty much doing that component. Fractions again, but notice the denominators are different. So the LCD of these two fractions, we have 10 and 5. The LCD is 10 because 5 and 10 divide into 10. So I'm going to multiply this whole thing by 10. Should be 3 arrows. So I get 10 times 3 over 10x minus 10 times 2 over 5 equals 10 times 2. Well, these 10s are going to cancel out, so we get 3x. Here, however, it's not going to cancel out easily, so I'll just do the long way. 10 times 2 is 20. 1 times 5 is 5. 10 times 2 is 20. So 20 over 5, this becomes what? 20 over 5. 4, right? So this is the same thing as 3x minus 4 equals 20. Solve for x. Add 4 on both sides. So then we get 3x is equal to 24. Divide both sides by 3, and then we get x is equal to 8. And we are done. See how it's much easier to solve getting rid of the fractions, guys? So if you're having a hard time finding the LCD, look at the lecture again that has LCD somewhere in chapter 9. Go ahead and utilize your resources, guys. Or look at my math lab for help me solve this, or give me another example. Or pull up the book, use all the other ways you can, or even Google or YouTube. All right, number 6. Solve the equation So notice how there's more terms here on the left and the right side. So you got to ask yourself, all right, can we combine anything on the left side? Well, yeah, we can. We can combine the x's. Next, we ask ourselves, can we combine anything on the right side? Yeah, we can. The 8 and the 11. So let's go ahead and use our math skills to combine these. You have 4 x's, but you owe me 9. Well, you give me the 4 that you have, you still owe me 5. So it'll be negative 5x minus 11. Bring down to negative 5x plus 8 minus 11. That you have $8, but you spend 11, so you still owe the bank $3. So I'm gonna go ahead and move 5x to the other side. Notice how the 5x's cancels out on both sides, so I get negative 11 equals negative 3. And this is a statement. Does negative 11 equal negative 3? If you said false, you're correct. When we get a false statement, guys, that means there is no solution for the equation. So if a false is a no solution, what's a true statement? If you said all real numbers or infinity solutions, you are correct. But I want you to not say infinity solutions. I want you to say all real numbers, since that is the college way to say infinity solutions. But let's keep moving on. Here we have, like I said, a lot of algebra going on, so we cannot panic. We got to stay calm. Stay calm and breathe. So let's go ahead and draw the line down the equal sign, guys. I'm going to draw my arrows to distribute the 2, right? Because I can't combine any like terms on the left side, so I'm just going to bring that down. So 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 1 is 2. Bring down the 4x minus 5. Combine the like terms. 2x and 4x is 6x. 2 minus 5 is negative 3. 6x minus 3. You can stop here because they're the same thing, but if you want to go extra, go ahead and move x's on one side. This, but both cancel out, so we get negative 3 equals negative 3, which is a true statement, which is what I said earlier. So this is all real numbers, guys. All real numbers, which is the same thing as infinity solutions, or infinitely many. Infinitely many solutions. But I want you to say all real numbers, okay? Is that understood? Let's keep going. All right. Solve the equation for the given variable. 7x plus y equals 10 for y. So we want to get y by itself. So 7x plus y equals 10. When we want to get this by itself, I just got to move this 7x over. That's it. So then I get y equals 10 minus 7x. And we're done. Don't overthink these problems, guys. Solve the equation for the given variable. P equals m plus k plus n for m. So I want to get m by itself. So I have m already. So I have k and n. So I just got to move k and n over to get m by itself. So minus k, right? So then I get p minus k equals m plus n. But I want to get m by itself, so I'm going to subtract n now. Cancels out. So then we get m equals p minus k minus little n. And we're done. Don't overthink the algebra, guys. Don't let the letters freak you out. I know letters and math kind of freak people out, but stay calm and just look at how I did it. All right, number 10. W equals capital X plus capital X, Y, and Z. Remember, when you have letters next to each other, they're being multiplied. So keep that in mind as we work this one out, okay? Let me go ahead and write it down again. So W equals capital X plus capital X, Y, Z. So I want to get this Y by itself, so I'm going to move this X over first. So W minus X equals X, Y, Z. Since zeros are all being multiplied, I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides. I want to get y by itself, so I'm going to divide by capital X and little z. So this cancels out, so now we have y equals capital W minus X divided by capital X little z. And we are done. Do not let these throw you off. Even as they get more intense, do not let them throw you off. 11. Capital V equals 5 pi ct plus 2 pi c squared for t. So I want to get t by itself, right? So equals 5 pi ct plus 2 pi c squared. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 2 pi c squared on both sides since it has no t there. So then we get v minus 2 pi c squared equals 5 pi ct. all of these are being multiplied, ladies and gentlemen. So the opposite of multiplication is division. So divide everything by 5 pi c. And voila, t is by itself. So t equals v minus 2 pi c squared over 5 pi c. So make sure you write the correct letter and the correct exponent and the correct symbols, guys. So solving it is one thing. Typing it into MyLab is another thing. So keep that in mind. Number 12. Find the missing measurement using the formula A equals W times height. So the area of a rectangular is approximately this. So we have area equals WH. Well, area is approximately this, so this is capital A. And the width is approximately 52, so it's W. We want to find H. So then we get 3588 equals 52 times height. Well, to get height by itself, since we're multiplying 52, we're going to divide by 52. And then we get the height is equal to this fraction. So I'm going to plug that into my calculator. And however your thing wants you to tell you, that's the way you're going to divide it. So now I have 3588 divided by 52 is 69. So the height is approximately 69 feet. Thank you, guys. All right, graph the inequality on the number line, then write the solutions in interval notation. So x is less than or equal to negative 8. So I'm going to put 0 here, right? So it doesn't matter where you put it, right? So it'll be 0. Or actually, you don't need to put 0 anyways. Just put the number that's there, negative 8. So we want negative 8. Since it's a less than or equal to, remember, less than or equal to or greater than or equal to is going to be a bracket. And then less than or greater than is going to be a parentheses. So this is, I would write this in your journal. So it's a less than, right? So if it's a less than, we'll shade to the left. If it's greater than, we'll shade to the right. So it's going to be a less than. So x is less than negative 8. So we'll be shading to the left. It's a bracket. So we'll be going to the left. So now we have to write an interval notation. Which, remember, there's two infinities. We have to the left is negative infinity. And we have to the right, which is positive infinity. So then the interval notation will be parentheses negative infinity, comma to negative 8 with a bracket since it's less than or equal to. And this is your interval notation, guys. Do not overthink this part, okay? Just look how I did it and look in the lecture again, okay? So then 14 is y is less than negative 3. Y is less than negative 3. So I'm going to put a 3 on here. So it's less than, so it's going to be a parentheses and it's going less than, so it's going to the left, right? Because it's less than. So it's going to be a parentheses all the way to the left. So which infinity is to the left? So the interval notation is negative infinity, comma to 3. And that's it. And it always has a parentheses. It's only a bracket if it's equal to underneath it, okay? And infinities always have parentheses, y'all. All right, we're almost done, guys. So 15, finish strong. So if negative 7 less than x less than 1. So we want two numbers. We have negative 7 and we have positive 1. And x is between that. So we're going to want to shade between these two. Now the question is it going to be a bracket or parentheses? Look at the symbols, it's a less than. So is this going to be parentheses? So now how do we shade this? So, or we already shaded it, so what's the interval notation? So it goes from negative 7 to 1, and they're both less than, so it'd be parentheses, and that's my interval notation. On these examples, we want to solve for it. We want to pretty much get x alone. Like solving an equation, right? But it's just, there's a symbol there, so it's not just an equation. So to get x alone, we're going to go ahead and add 3 on both sides. That cancels out, so we get x is greater than or equal to negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. So we want to grab this bad boy. So put negative 1 there, and it's greater than, so and it's equal to, so it's going to be a bracket. And it's greater than, so it'll be going all the way to the right. So the interval notation will be bracket negative 1 to positive infinity. And we are done. Here it gets a little more complex, right? Because we have x's on both sides and numbers on both sides. So how do we do it? It's like solving an equation. I want you to pretend this is an equal sign, and we manipulate it. It's a greater than, so we're gonna have a parentheses, but we still gotta solve it, right? So I'm gonna subtract 6x on both sides. So now I get 7x minus 6x is 1x, or just x. Minus 4 is greater than negative 3. I'm gonna add 4 on both sides. So then I get x is greater than 1. I gotta graph this. So put a 1 there. It's greater than, so it'll be a parentheses, and it's greater than, so I'll be going to the right. So it'll be parentheses 1 to positive infinity for the interval notation. And we're done. 18. We want to divide by negative 4 because it's negative 4 times x. What we do to one side, we do to the other. Uh-oh. So when we divide by a negative or multiply by a negative, the symbol flips. So it's a less than or equal to, so it's going to become a greater than or equal to. 8 divided by negative 4 is just negative 2. So negative 2. And it's greater than, so an equal to, so it'll be a bracket and going to the right. So it'll be bracket negative 2, comma, to infinity positive. And we're done. All right. 19. Want to get x alone, so then we subtract 9 on both sides. Now notice how we're subtracting by negative, so we're not going to flip the sign here. So we have x, negative 6, negative 9 is negative 15, less than. So negative 15 is less than x. I don't really like the way this is written, so I'm going to switch this order. But when I do that, if negative 15 is less than x, negative 15 is smaller than x, that means x is greater than negative 15. So then we get negative 15, and it's greater than, so it'll be a parentheses going to the right. So then it'll be, interval notation will be negative 15 to positive infinity, and we're done. All right, guys, last one, 20. So we got to get x alone, so distribute the 4x. Oh, that's ugly. So distribute the 4 to the x and the 1. So then we get 4x plus 4 minus 3x is greater than or equal to negative 6. The 4x minus 3x is just x, plus 4 is greater than or equal to negative 6. Subtract 4 on both sides, so then I get x is greater than or equal to negative 10. Notice how I didn't flip it because I'm not dividing or multiplying, I'm just subtracting. So I'm going to put a negative 10 right here, and it's greater than, so it's going to be equal to, so it'll be a bracket to the right. So it'll be bracket negative 10 to infinity. And we are done, y'all. So if you were able to do this review and you're able to follow me on the steps that I did, then you should be able to do the test 3 on your own similarly, guys. So best of luck to you guys. Make sure to ask any questions during class this week or email me or text me. You guys take care. Peace and love.